Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a Friday show. Man, this week went by fast. I wasn't paying attention and I missed, I was a few seconds late. I'm a slacker. Let me, is this, there we go. Trying to get everything all set up. So, welcome to Break the Cycle with DSD. I'm your host, Duane. This is also a podcast. You can find it on all of the podcast directories, iTunes, Stitcher, yada, yada, all of them. And I need to say this better. Yesterday, when I listened back to it, I said that the podcast was on the Amazon thing, but it's Apple thing, but I meant Amazon Music. The Amazon Music thing, they've now started to have podcasts, and I'm listed on that. So check it out. If you do Amazon Music, they now have podcasts, which is pretty exciting stuff. The next thing is only a licensed professional can diagnose an individual with a personality disorder. So be very careful when you're going around and you're figuring out what your ex is. Just, focus on the behaviors, focus on the patterns, behaviors. Don't go around saying, I've diagnosed my ex with blah, blah, blah. I saw a comment the other day where a person basically said, I don't even call my ex a narcissist anymore. I just say they were toxic for me. And that's the reality, right? It's the behavioral patterns that is the issue, not the term. It would be nice if we could get a diagnosis so that people would, believe us and maybe it would help, but it is what it is. The text notification, if you want to get a text notification that didn't go out this morning, dang it, you can do that by texting DSDLIVE to 844-598-0012. So, whoops, what did I do? Oh, yeah. Man, I'm having all kinds. Let's see. Nope. Oh, man. I hit the wrong button. I'm trying to create other little things. And the other thing I wanted to show is the phone lines are open. You can call into today's show at 1-424-373-5483 or 1-424-DSD-LIVE. The other thing I didn't mention is that I'm not a therapist, nor do I play one on the internet. I'm an individual much like you who's been through a pretty tough situation and come out the other side. And I share that with you to hopefully give you hope, to give you a way forward to get your life back, minimize the effects of a toxic, abusive ex, and if you have kids, help rebuild the relationship and hopefully help them break the cycle. Okay, let's see. Did I hit record this time? Yesterday I forgot to hit record on my audio portion. All right. So let me just double check my notes because I was a little scattered here on my normal little stuff. Oh, if you're new and you haven't subscribed, please support the channel and support me by hitting the subscribe button, ring the bell, set it to all so you get all the notifications. Make sure that your device is set to display notifications, otherwise they won't work. I'd really appreciate that. I already mentioned the podcast and the Amazon thing. Oh, the You Get to Be You series. Excuse me. If I have my dates and information correct, my episode airs tomorrow. So I hope you get a chance to check that out. The other thing, I sent a community post tab to, I wonder if this is going to work. This is probably not going to work because I got to fix this part. So let me do this, YouTube. If you go, I'll just do it this way. I was on the Divorced Dadvocate. There's my little notification about the podcast thing. The Divorced Advocate the other day on the Monday episode number 12. It's a new channel. So I was interviewed by Jude, and check it out. I go and take a listen, leave a comment. If you like the episode, give it a like, all that kind of good stuff. He's a new channel. I think he's got like 29 subscribers. Well, he's got a YouTube channel and a podcast. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, I was on the Divorced Dadvocate episode number 12. So check it out, and I'd love to hear what you think about that. And let me just reset everything so that when I go back to it. I did post this in the DSD Discord, but yesterday I think I was finally able to isolate the problem of the guest thing, of bringing a Skype guest in. And I did a test with Spiritually Empowered Coaching, just a private test. Basically, we've been planning on, she's done a series on the Amber Heard and Jonny Depp trial, doing an analysis of what's going on, what's being testified on in the case, and doing an analysis of the whole thing. And I think it's an interesting train wreck of a story that really has some great examples of false allegations and flying monkeys, and just the behavioral traits of since she's not diagnosed, a highly toxic person. So we're going to do that right now, barring any problems. That's scheduled for Tuesday next week. So if you guys are interested in that, or if you have any specific questions or comments, if you could reply to this video or send me an email. If you're on Twitter, Leslee from Spiritually Empowered Coaching has put a poll out there asking for discussion points so that we can, that's what'll be the premise of the Tuesday show next week. And I'll send some more information about that, like through the mailing list and stuff. So yeah. Let me get to my other notes. I was going to try to do some talking points today. I'm a little behind on that. Partly the thing, talking about computer issues, I tried to do something last night and locked my computer up doing a task for like 3 hours. So it really messed with my evening workflow. So a little behind the power curve. But hey, it's Friday. We made it through the week. Another week is down. We get to relax, hopefully. Hopefully you get to relax for the weekend. Have a nice cup of coffee. And just get ready for the next one. It's amazing. It's like week after week after week flies by. I mean, I remember when I started this show, I was like, all right, 2 weeks, see how it works. I'll do it for a month. I'll run it through, the podcast series, which, I mean, before then it was like, oh my God, that's months, that's over a month away. And here it is. Now it's like my episode should be publishing tomorrow. It's like, wow, where'd the time go? The thing I'll say about that, let's see, I'm trying to think about how to say this, but back in the day, whenever finished with court, they lay down the bad news on how things are going to be for for this foreseeable future. Easy for me to say. And it felt like such a long time. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be, what was it, six years before the first kid drops off, 8 years after that. And it just seems so far away. And I remember thinking back then, how am I going to do this? How am I going to, how is it going to work? How in the world am I going to survive this emotionally, mentally, financially? It was just such a bleak view that I was just like, I couldn't see a pathway through the darkness. Now, back then, what I did is I just got angry. And when I say angry, what I mean is I got angry that I wasn't going to just give up. I wasn't going to let that despair, that view of no future, break me. Because I got to the point where I'm like, this chick, my ex, wants to break me, wants to just destroy me. That's what it felt like. And I'm not going to give her that victory. I am not going to give up. I am not going to stop. I'm not going to go away. I'm not going to walk away. I'm not going to do something bad. I'm going to just persevere. Because I guess I had the belief, well, initially it was like, I'm just not going to let you have your victory. I'm not going to let you just take everything and destroy everything. So part of it, I guess, and in some ways, was just keeping her in California, not allowing her to move to the flyover states, as someone said the other day. And that was how I survived. And it's not a good way to survive, right? I mean, that was not on a positive mindset. It was just a defiance mindset. But over time, once I finally got tired of that, and I'm like, okay, I got to re-baseline my life. I got to do something different. Then things started to change. And it was really weird because I remember at the beginning looking at it going, holy crap, I really thought, I'm not going to get my life back until I'm 54. I think that's whenever, 50, 54, 53, somewhere around then. It's like, it's going to take until then, until all the kids are off. And then, even then I'm going to be, just trying to dig myself out of the financial hole. And it was just such a bad thing. Here I am. I'm not even at that point. A couple of years, or 3 or 4 years ago, I started feeling a lot better. I started enjoying life. I started finding joy in my own peace. And I didn't think it would be possible. Now I'm just grateful for the little things. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for being able to do this channel. I'm grateful for, having a decent place to live, even though there's a big crack running through the house. Sometimes I think the house is going to break in half. But, I'm doing okay. And I think that's the key is you have to find your okay, your peace to persevere through this. And then things just start turning around and getting better. Okay, so I see some stuff from moderator Debbie. Hold on, I'm trying to, that just scrolled up. So I'm trying to see if I can figure out what this is all about. Let's see. Okay. Oh shoot, I need to make sure I'm on the number thing so I can see when someone comes up. I'm like disheveled today. I'm just on operating on a reduced power. So okay. All right, so I'll scroll up on here. Hitting the wrong buttons over here. Okay, let me scroll back down and let's see what's going on. All right, so Golden is talking about his problems, their problem. It says, I lost the battle. I don't even get to see my kids no more or talk to them. What else did they say? And it goes on to say, the judge took away my access on false allegations from my ex, and it was court ordered she won sole custody of the children. And I have so much stuff that I have to deal with, like fixing my back, getting myself back working. But the fact I've lost my kids and I can't see them for a while really hurts. So, here's the deal. Sometimes things don't go the way we hope, the way we expect. But your comment right here, let me scroll back up, where you say, let me put this back on the screen. It says, I have so much stuff that I have to deal with, like fixing my back, getting myself back working. But the fact that I've lost my kids and I can't see them for a while really hurts. Very true, right? And that's got to be a devastating defeat in this whole thing. But now what you have to do is you have to re-baseline your life. You have to basically say, okay, I lost, whatever the reason is, whether it's just or unjust, You know, you were probably more than likely, you took the bait like a lot of us do. I was lucky that when I took the bait, the ex didn't really want to play that card or was worried for some reason. My guess is she thought she already won, so she didn't think she needed to do that. But what you do now is you're like, okay, you know, what are the parameters? I mean, if you are completely barred from having any contact with them, first thing with your attorney, double check to make sure what your appeals options are. And if that doesn't work, if if they say, oh no, there's no appeal, that's the way it is, then go check out The Proper Person, Alex Falcone on YouTube. He's got a ton of information about self-representation and doing appeals. So look at that, because I say that first just because a lot of times there's timelines that potentially that if you're going to appeal something, you have to do it in a timely fashion. So you need to look on that and find out what the dates are. Now, if you look on it and you find out that you have 6 months or a year to file it, then you can put it on pause and then go through the next stuff. But if it's a shorter term, file an appeal, get that process going, and then immediately start working on yourself. Like you're talking about fixing your back and getting yourself back working, that's what you focus on. That becomes your priority. Because here's the thing, you're no good to yourself nor your kids if you're broken, physically and emotionally. Then once you get that done, then you, like you said, start working on getting a job. And then you just build on that. You know, lather, rinse, and repeat. Keep making small improvements. If you can, get a therapist to help you deal with the issues with this. I mean, in my situation, I didn't get erased. It was close, but I didn't get erased. But I still was an emotional train wreck that needed help and support to get me through it. So I don't know, Golden, if you have a therapist, but I would encourage you to find someone. Let me see if you put anything else out there. No, I don't see anything. And that's the thing. You can't allow these people. Let me back up. The court system is going to do what it's going to do. You know, like I mentioned at the beginning, there's things that you can do to, like, looking for appeals or looking for ways to say, hey, wait a minute, this is messed up. So research that. But you can't allow these people to just destroy your life. And I know just saying that can be like, well, they just did. And I felt that way before too. It's like, I mean, and there's still repercussions for the situation I'm in. I can't retire, you know? I mean, I'm my future, what I thought I was going to do, where I thought I was going to go, what I thought it was going to be is gone. And I could have made a decision years ago that that's what I was going to focus on. Like my dad basically did that. He stayed focused on being angry, so it colored everything in not the rest of his life, but because he's still here, but for decades affected his life. Now is a time where you say, okay, you know, I've been knocked down. What's my success story going to be? What am I going to do to change this, to turn it into a positive when it feels like there's nothing there? And this is not easy. I'm not saying you just like, you know, oh, just excuse me, just have a coffee and just take a deep breath and all will be well. Holy hell, I wish it worked that way. It doesn't. It takes a lot of perseverance. It takes a ton of work, and it takes a perspective shift. So Golden says, yes, I have a therapist, but with Corona limited access, I don't have a lawyer. I've been self-representing myself for almost a year now, and there's a process with the back specialist, and I'm scared that it's going to be too long of a process to get my life back on my feet and fight for my kids before it's finalized. See, you're dealing with the double whammy. I mean, I have back issues, so I've never had to have surgery. That maybe at some point I'm hoping I try to minimize my chances for permanent damage, but my point is that whenever you're dealing with a physical injury plus all this other stuff, it is overwhelming. So here's the thing, Golden. You know, you can do what you can do. Don't beat yourself up on what you can't do. You know, break it up into chunks. If you're representing yourself and you're not familiar with Alex Falcone, go check him out and find out what the minimal amount of paperwork you have to do to start the appeal process and throw it in there. Just get it in there so that it's moving. It's going forward. I mean, technically, if you're completely, if there's a restraining order, or I'm assuming that's what you're saying, is that you've been barred from being around the ex and the kids for either now or forever. If that's the case, then at least you don't have to deal with her. So focus on getting yourself well, setting the groundwork to mash the button on this, and get yourself going again. And I know, I mean, it's so weird because when I say that, I know how I felt. I know when someone would say, "Hey man, it's going to be all right." And I'd be like, "How the hell is it going to be all right? It's not going to be all right. This is everything's destroyed. Everything I spent 4 decades, 40 years, 40 plus years building has just been erased. You know, I'm getting older. I'm not in great health. I'm not, I'm more physically fit now than I have been probably in 3 decades, but it didn't feel possible. All it felt was that freaking pain that was in my chest that would never go away. And then I was just, and that's probably, Golden, what you're doing is you're looking at it going, holy crap. I don't know how old you are. How old are you, Golden? Throw that in the comments. But you're probably looking at it going, I'm X years old. I'm going to lose all this time. I've been already run through the ringer. All this stuff is stuck, like with the court and everything. And you're looking at it going, well, holy crap. You know, how do I start over? There's always an opportunity to start over. That opportunity ends whenever we end. So as long as you're still breathing and you're still moving, it's not over. Doesn't mean it's going to be what we always thought. My life's not what I thought. You know? I mean, you just have to keep pressing forward and realize that they're trying to break you. They're trying to destroy everything that's important to you. And don't let them do it. You know, just we get to decide if we're going to give up. All right, let me pull this up when it pops up. So 31-year-old was in a relationship for almost 12 years, worked 2 full-time jobs, did everything I was supposed to. Then the moment I needed her, I was stabbed. I was thrown under the bus. I was turned. Well, one nice thing is 31 is, that's, whoops, that did not go the way I anticipated. Now I'm having, let's see, great. Come to find out, my little thing will scroll with my mouse. How awesome is that? So, so it means your kids have to be at least they're 12 or under. So that's still time, plus it's time that they knew you. The potential is let's say you were an angry, frustrated person throughout the marriage, right? So maybe the kids have a reason to feel that all the hype that's being put about how horrible you are is legit. It's the same thing I went through. You know, I was the authoritative person in the relationship. I was the disciplinarian. So I was the bad guy. Super easy to turn me into the bad guy. When this whole thing started, the kids were scared. You know, my middle daughter, trying to get attention from her mom, was like, I'm scared of daddy. I don't want to go there. And then jump in my truck. Hi, daddy. How are you? You know, just stupid stuff like that. And, it took me years to undo that, to basically demonstrate with my own actions that I wasn't that guy. Well, I was that guy, but that I'm not that guy any longer. I mean, the reality is sometimes people just have hot fuses. I get that. Sometimes you're pushed so much and you're stressed out so much that you respond and react that way. I mean, that's kind of like my default action is I kind of have a tendency to go that way whenever I'm tired or stressed. Super easy to manipulate me. So, and I knew what was happening. I knew from my past experience dealing with this professionally, dealing with narcissistic people. I mean, I knew what the ex was doing, and it was still super hard to take a step back and go, okay, I got to try something different. Oh, wait a minute. I got confused. I saw a comment and I thought it was from Golden. So anyways, Golden, I don't know if I lost my train of thought on that, but what I just enumerated, check on the appeal, figure your back out, start working, on the therapy thing, see if your therapist will do teletherapy. A lot of places are doing that. That's what my son's currently doing because he can't go in. Let's see here. Oh, I was turned out to be the bad guy. I had allegations after allegations thrown at me, and she tried to take my place. She took everything, and I'm having to rebuild from scratch. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. And I mean, the one positive that I see out of everyone's experience on this is you basically get knocked all the way back down to go. So you get to start over. You get to pick the new direction you want to go. If there's a different life path you want to take, you get to take it. I mean, if everything's been taken from you, you get to start over. In some ways, I mean, I'm grateful for my situation. I'm grateful for my career. But at the same time, it's an albatross that makes it difficult for me to do other things. If I would have lost my job and she would have won and would have went to the flyover states and I had nothing tying me here, I would have done something different. I would have switched careers. I would have tried something new. As it stands right now, I got kind of like what they call it here is the golden handcuffs, to where you have a career, you have a lifestyle, but you don't have enough to be able to move past it. I was trying to. I mean, before the whole thing happened, I had a plan to retire the first day I could retire. I was putting money away. I was doing all the things to set it off. That's all been erased. All been erased. I don't even look anymore. I used to get really angry about it. Now it's just one of those things where I'm like, well, I'll just keep thinking about it later. I mean, at some point, okay, let me back up. I'm not just completely ignoring it. I'm trying to move my little, I wouldn't even say chess pieces. I'm trying to move my little checker pieces in a position to where at some point I'll be okay. And I think that'll happen, but that isn't going to be at 57. It's probably going to be 72, if I'm still alive at 72. Anyways, all right, let me see what else is going on in the comments. Okay, I'll grab this one. Volser asks, how do you deal with extra activities like instruments and the ex saying daddy should pay for it even though there is child support? All right, here's the deal. I have multiple thoughts on this. I'll go backwards. The first one is, does a court order say you have to pay it? More than likely for instruments, the answer is no. So you don't have to do it. Next part is are you so financially ruined that you're basically living on top ramen and you're trying to figure out how in the world you're going to even put gas in your car to get to work? If that's your situation, you're not required to pay it. Don't pay it. If the kids say, because obviously the kids always get involved in this, daddy or mommy, daddy says that, or daddy, mommy says, in this situation, that, I can't be in band because you won't pay for half. And then you just say, hey, sorry, pumpkin. I'd really love to. I just can't. Finances are really bad. If your mom can't pay for it, And I would not say, if your mom won't take the $4,000 a month I'm giving you, whatever it is, and put it towards that. Don't go through that. They ain't going to help you, because then they're going to go back to the mom, whatever, to mommy and in that situation and say, daddy says this, trust me, you'll have your opportunity to have those conversations at some point. And and then you get and say no. Third option, or third phase of this is, let's say you're doing okay. It's annoying, and you're looking at it going, seriously, you got, whatever the situation is. I don't know. I don't remember, Volser, what your situation specifically is, but, you just, if you can make it happen, you make it happen. When I put my youngest wanted to play soccer, I paid for that. Or I came up with the money for that, I guess is a better way to put it. And when I had to get the stuff, I did it. I didn't ask the ex for it, because she had already freaked out. And it's like, you're committing a crime by signing our daughter up for soccer. It says you can unless we agree. I'm like, F you. It doesn't say that. It says that I can do what I want on my time. You can do what on your time. I already checked with the program. And if you can't take her on the other time, it's okay. She'll miss some of the practices and she won't be able to go. She'll only be able to go to every other game. Okay. She wants to do it. We're making it happen. If you don't want to support it, I guess you could look at it and say, well, that was a dick move, Duane. You were just trying to make her look bad. No, I was trying to do what was right for my kid. And she was fighting it. Now, a few years into it, she finally did start taking her, but she still wouldn't pay anything. And I didn't push it. And she was getting a ton of money from me. That's my take. If the court order says you have to pay, then you have to pay. If you don't have the money and you're completely financially ruined on this, and coming up with the money for the instrument is not possible, then you don't do it. And the third thing is if it is possible, like, let's say it's like, oh, well, the instrument's $100 a month and, can you pay $50? And you have, a $300 a month buffer. Well, then pay it. Because you're not doing it for the ex, you're doing it for your kid. We all know that the ex is manipulating the situation to screw with you. The kids don't know that. And honestly, and this is the advice that I very regularly put out there, that you have to make your decisions on what you're going to do on what's best for you and your kid. Or basically, maybe you should say for your kid and for you. Don't think about how it affects the ex, because that will just drive you crazy and make you angry. So now when I look at things, it's like, okay, what's the best decision that's going to be the best possible solution for me and my children? If that has a secondary consequence or secondary effect that the ex benefits from it, I don't even think about that anymore, because it's irrelevant. So, Volser, I hope that was helpful. Let me see if you commented while I was talking about. Not half at all. Okay. Let me see here. Now, this is a good point, so let me pull this up. Volser says, let me make that bigger. Just worried about the inch, take a mile. Just, again, make the decision based on what's right for you and your kid. Your exes, our exes are inevitably going to win, and win a lot of the battles. You're focusing on the war and how to win the hearts and minds going forward. That's the key. So yeah, they might take an inch, but you ultimately take the mile. Let's see here. John says to DSD, my kids say to me, Dad, it takes a lot to raise 2 kids. Gee, who did they hear that from? Could it be Satan? That's funny. See, here's the thing, guys. The kids are going to be put in the middle of it, even though technically they're not supposed to. Technically, they'll say that they're not. I mean, we're going to do it too. We just got to be strategic about it and try to minimize it as much as possible. It's just it's tough. It's a tough situation. Man, this show has not gone the way I had hoped. I was really hoping for a more positive, uplifting set of discussions. Do have a call coming in, so I'll grab that in a moment as that's coming up. I was actually going to try to do a whole show just talking about positive stuff, talking about how lives have turned around. Oh, Jesus. Shane says to John, this is to John Boston. He goes, I can relate. My ex bought my son $130 Jordans for school, and we split the expenses. So here's the thing. You're going to have, they are going to try to find every way to hurt you, especially when it's finances. I'll give you another example of that. Well, after I took the ex took her to small claims court for the medical, and she paid one of them. Guess what happened? She started taking the kids to everything that she possibly could. The good part is I had so many bills racked up that when she would go, oh, here's my monthly billing. I spent $100, so you owe me $50. And then I'd be like, oh, awesome. Well, thank you for that. That's great. I spent, $650. So you owe me, so that would have been or whatever. I'll say $600. So that means you owe me $30. So yeah, so now you only owe me $250. Yeah. Would that be cash or card? Actually, at one point when she was like, I can't afford that, I actually got one of those Squarespace things, and I'm like, hey, I take credit card. Or that's what she said. She goes, well, you should have told me so I had the opportunity to put it on a credit card. So being the smart ass that I am, because I can be kind of a smart ass sometimes, I actually not Squarespace, Square Deal, Square, whatever, the one that you can go, boop, with your phone. And I got one of those things set up, and I'm like, hey, I can take, you want to pay credit? You can pay me on credit. I can come over right now. You can just swipe it. Amazingly enough, she said no to that. Can you believe it? She's like, well, I can't afford that, so I'm going to have to pay you in installments. I'm like, all right, but you're going to pay me. She actually did pay for a couple of years. She paid until our son turned graduated high school and was off the dole. Then she stopped paying everything. She's like, well, I don't have the money anymore. And he was whatever. And she still owes me money. It's like one of those things where I just don't worry about it anymore. All right, with it being 6:38, I am going to go to this return caller, I think. Let me, it says it's from Matt. I have a quick, positive little story, or had a quick, anyways, I'll just bring him on. Hold on. Hey, welcome back to the show.
What's up, D? How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you doing? I'm trying to read everything. I figured I might as well just have you talk about it when you bring you on. So what's going on?
No, I got something funny. I know we're hearing some stories here on the live chat that are kind of scary. They're kind of sad, and you got to remember what can happen and be thankful and try to avoid the pitfalls that can happen.
Yeah.
But I want to share. There's a good little thing last night that happened to me at home between my son and my wife there. Soon to be ex now in the divorce thing we're going through. They were finishing up dinner in the dining room, and I was in the kitchen putting away leftovers and cleaning. And my wife says, with her typical attitude, you could have asked before putting things away. You don't even ask. Somebody might want seconds. And so I say, like you were saying with the credit card, I said, oh, I'm sorry. Do you want any more? Well, no, but you could have asked. Okay, so you didn't want it. You just want to give me a hard time. Cool.
That's fine.
Anyway, so then my son, he's almost 6. He says, Mommy, yeah. Why do you mean, Daddy? What do you mean? What do you mean mean? Well, you're always telling him what to do and yelling at him. Well, Daddy yells at me too. Well, I don't hear him yelling at you.
Oh my God, that's priceless.
It was just that. That's all. That was the whole story.
That's awesome, man.
I thought it was gonna. I know.
Oh, geez, you probably thought her head was gonna fly off, right? I mean, you're probably like, oh my God, the rage is coming.
Yeah. So I turned it off in the sense that then I broke in the conversation. I said, "Oh, mommy made dinner tonight. It was really good. You know, just try to get off it." I was like, that was enough because I didn't want. She was going to keep going back and forth and then getting it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
It
yeah.
was enough, and I was like, okay, you know.
You got your victory.
Isn't that great? Like, yeah.
That's awesome.
It was really good. It's nice. You know, it's nice when it's the little things and the fact that they know. They know.
They do. I mean, and I think you're right. Even at 6 years old, our kids see it. They're going to struggle with it, and they might not respond the way we would hope that they would respond. You know, I mean, shoot, probably what your hope would be that your son would just say, "Hey, you know what, mommy, I want to just live with daddy. You're too stressful." But the likelihood that they're going to do that or start picking sides, I mean, they will pick sides out of survival, but just being able to have what I'm thinking about, or how am I trying to say it, is have that mature, rational level of discernment to say, oh, okay, I can analyze the situation. This person's crazy. I need to be with the other one. Unfortunately, that doesn't normally happen.
Yeah.
But
yeah, hopefully you won't have to. Hopefully things someday will settle and we can be normal. I'm not betting on it, but you never know.
Well, you can. What happens is we get to a point where we get to kind of like almost like a stalemate. But if that stalemate is, you get to have good reoccurring interaction with your kids and you can build the relationship, then that's a good situation, right? So,
Yep.
and I think you're online for that. I mean, I think even with everything that's going on, I don't see any reason why that's going to happen. Why anything other than that would happen. I mean, you're taking a lot of risk in the way you're doing it, but you're doing the best scenario to set you up for the best opportunity for success, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I did have that meeting with my attorney yesterday. It went really well. Really positive meeting. It was good because the last meeting I had, I was emotional. I mean, not crying, but I was emotional, and I was like kind of like raising my voice, and I was like even swearing because I was just frustrated that. Oh yeah. Why is she doing this? It was a good meeting. We do have a judge now. We got assigned a judge.
Oh, good. Okay. So it's making progress.
Yeah, moving along.
Well, and you sound better,
slowly but surely.
Matt. I mean, we've had lots of conversations on the show. We've had, on the Discord, if I remember correctly, and in comments. And you sound pretty good today, man.
Yeah, good. I finally got an answer about. I know I've talked about before. It's really minor considering other people's problems, but that my wife kind of restricts my access to the bedtime rituals. She always says, no, I'm taking the bed, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Always bothered me. And finally got an answer from my child. I said, I can wait it out. Yes, it sucks and it's BS, but as long as it doesn't affect custody. I don't know what her goal is. It could be just to torture me, or it could be
that's probably
the courts. Or I put him to bed at night, so I'm his sole custodial. I'm his caretaker. I put him to bed at night. Yeah. And I finally said, does this matter vis-a-vis custody? Does anyone care about this at all? And he said, no.
No, they don't care.
I don't care who took him to bed.
No, they'll let
ease my mind on that.
the way they will care about it is if they can use that argument point to squeeze more money out of you. Yeah, they'll do that. But at the end of the day, it ain't going to make a difference. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there. She just, you want to know why I don't put him to bed at night? Because she stands at the stairs and blocks me. What do you want me to do?
You have a good answer for it, right? So. All right, man. Hey, thanks for. I appreciate you sharing a positive story. I was getting. Like I was saying earlier, I wanted this show to go a different direction, and it's been a rough. It's been a rough one. So thanks for that little nugget of funniness.
Yeah, you got it, man. All right, thanks for the show.
Thanks. See, and then I see another. Let's see if hopefully I can pick this up. So thanks for calling. I appreciate that. Let me look for. Where is it? Where is that comment? Here we go. So Bears, if you guys remember from a couple of days ago, if it pops up, had a court hearing, and the update is I was awarded guardianship over my parents at the Zoom court on Wednesday. My narc sibling tried to push through a visitation petition at the same time. We disagreed. I wonder if there's a second part of that. Well, good for you, Bears. I know that's been one of those things you've been working on for a long time. So congratulations. That is outstanding. Thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate it. That's good. All right, so I'm going to look around. Let me see if there's anything else. I already did that one. Seeing if moderator Debbie has sent anything to me, and it appears as no. So let me just look around on this. iTumblr says you have to be a smart Alec. I'll say smart Alec. So okay, I don't understand. Let me see if I can figure this one out. So Autumn says, at what point does it become that you keep doing and become taken advantage of? Very frustrating. I think I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. Maybe I lost it in translation, but what I think, or at least how this worked out for me, is I finally just had to say, I can't keep doing this. If I keep trying to force things, I was talking about this the other day. If I keep trying to force things to go a certain way and it's not working, it's going to kill me. I mean, I was already having, physical manifestations from all the stress and anxiety that I was going through that I was under. And it was, it just wasn't, that wasn't sustainable. And at some point we wake up one day and we just say, okay, enough is enough. Now, if you're saying you're being taken advantage of, I'm not sure, like I said, I don't know the specifics. But let's say you're even in a relationship and okay, I can give another example. For me, 21 years into it, like I basically got up and I'm like, I'm done. I cannot live like this anymore. I can't live under this constant anxiety and stress. And I didn't know it was emotional manipulation. I was just like, I can't do this anymore. This can't be my entire life. I was so stressed, so depressed, just such a broken person that I knew that if I didn't at least try to have a better life, that the marriage was going to destroy me, because it basically already had. And it was like, okay, I have to basically step off, like that Indiana Jones movie. Remember whenever the one with the third or fourth one where it had Sean Connery as his dad, and he's trying to get to the cup Jesus drank out of. I can't remember what the hell it's called. But anyways, and he gets up there and he's like, okay, he's reading this stuff and it's like, you have to have faith or whatever it was. And ultimately he has to step off the cliff, right? He has to have faith that he's not going to just fall to his death. And it turns out that it was just a clear, whatever. It was a glass bottom thing, and he was able to walk across it, But that's kind of where I was at. It was like, I don't know what's over this ledge, but I know I can't stay here. I have to have hope. And I honestly, it was at the point where it's like, okay, things are so bad. I'm in such a bad state emotionally. What the hell do I have to lose? I'm already a broken person. I'm already just at my wit's end. So how much worse can it get? Well, in some ways I wasn't expecting I wasn't expecting what happened to happen. However, what I will say is that leap of faith fundamentally changed my life and got me to ultimately, immediately it did get me to a place of peace. I'm like, oh my God, I'm free. So I had like a month or two where I was like, okay, all right, this is going to be okay. And then, whenever the ex realized that I wasn't playing the same game anymore and that I was done, oh my God, the crap that happened, that sent me into a tailspin. That sent me just crashing back down. And I could not believe what I was dealing with. I'm like, what? The allegations, the stories, the I'm entitled to this. I mean, it's like in an instant, the person I would have died for was trying to cut my throat. And it was like, what? One of the things that was different for me than a lot of other people, I was talking to someone about this the other day. When I left, I didn't hate the ex. I was disappointed. I didn't like my life, but I didn't hate her. And so I still had love for her. I still had a little bit of hope that maybe something would change. And that made the betrayal of trust so devastating because I was like, what? You know, it's like all the stuff I've done for you for 2 decades, you know, everything I've done to bend over backwards. And now you are trying to come out of the woodwork with anything that you can use against me to frickin' destroy me. And it was like that realization that, oh my God, this chick doesn't give a rat's ass about me. And it was really hard. So, I mean, I didn't even get a chance really to grieve the loss of the relationship. I remember it's like, you know, in the first few days, you know, when I said, okay, we're done. I mean, I was upset. I was sad. And then it was like a freaking bomb went off. And I was just like, oh my God, hey, I got to get back on my game face because I don't have time to sit here and worry about, you know, my little emotional feelings. I'm at war now. It was a tough time. I don't know if I made my point on that. Let me just scroll down here and see what else we got going on. Oh, this is interesting. Tiffany says, Duane, I've upped my customer service game with the experience of dealing with the ex. Way to make it a positive, Tiffany. Awesome. Oh, there we go. Lark says, DSD, Cup of Life or Ark of the Covenant. There you go. I haven't watched that movie in a long time. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. I'm going backwards, so I got to figure out what some of these comments mean. So H says we have to keep fighting for the sake of these kids, which is true. The abuse they have to deal with is for a lifetime. We have to help teach them ways to deal with it. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing I think is a potential positive out of all of this, if you can glean positives, is that ultimately, if we do this right, if we play our cards right and we don't burn ourselves out, we're going to have an opportunity to demonstrate to our kids what's appropriate in a relationship, what love really looks like, not this abusive facade of love, and ultimately get to a point where they are able to discern that at a young age and be able to have healthy boundaries, be able to recognize, hey, this person is toxic, and hopefully minimize their involvement with these people. This is the reason why I think that for people who have bad family of origins, like, you know, ding, 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 me, probably a lot of you guys out there, it's why your relationships are like 2 decades. Whereas other people, they fall for the trap. They fall for the love bombing and the mirroring because, you know, who the hell does that? They get married, and then shortly afterwards, it's like, holy hell, you know, what? And they say, oh no, done. I'm not, no. Because they have a healthy representation of, or a healthy example of what a good relationship is. They see that this isn't it, and they're like, oh hell no. I know what good is. This ain't good, and I'm not making excuses for it, and let it go. That's why. Now the problem is in those situations, you might already have a kid with them. You might already have your anchor connected, and you're kind of stuck. That's why, boys and girls, take some time. Don't have kids immediately. Get some time to make sure that who you're dealing with. I mean, think about it. Like I said, we're on Tuesday. Leslie's going to come on, and we're going to talk about the Jonny, Depp, and Amber Heard thing. Imagine if they would have had a kid. If he would have had a kid with her, and on top of everything else, he was stuck having to deal with her on that. You know, I mean, I waited 6 years for us to have kids. In the back of my mind, I think I knew it was a problem, and I knew for me it was like I knew what I went through and I didn't, shit. Sorry, I just dawned on me. It's like, I knew what I went through and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want my own kids to go through that. Guess what? I did it anyways. But we waited a long time to have kids. You know, I know for one part, I didn't want to have kids when I was in the military because I knew that if I did, the likelihood of me getting out would have been too risky. But no, anyways, you know, I wish that I would have been able to put 2 and 2 together. Technically I did. I knew that it was a bad relationship. I knew that it was toxic. I just didn't want to believe it. I made excuses for it. Hold on a second. Lark says, Duane, are there tactics to help detach from the pain and trauma to effectively do the fight for the kids, and what's just for yourself? Man, I shouldn't have picked that right at the end because I don't think I have enough time to hit that. So, Lark, what I'll do is I'll reattach that. I'll reattack that one on Monday. So tune in on Monday and we'll grab Lark's comment on that and I'll make that the bit. Whoops. Let's see. How do I do this? Let me put it here. No, that didn't work. Can I put it here? Come on. I'm trying to save this. I'm now having all. Debbie, can you grab that comment that Lark made and put it in the text so that I can use it later? Anyways, on that. I mean, not that we still got a couple of minutes left, but that one's a more involved question, and I want to give it more than a 30-second to minute answer. The bomb of anyways. I'm just trying to scroll around, trying to keep track of everything. Man, this has been kind of, it's weird because the chat's actually not super fast today, but it's like we've had a lot of stuff going on. I mean, it's already, shows, okay, cool. Thank you for doing that. So thanks for copying that. A lot of times that's what'll happen if we get old or backed up on stuff. We'll copy it and then I'll just use it for the next day. Yeah, the hour does go by quick. Let's see. Okay. Well, let me start wrapping things up. I'll say this, if you can, check out or sign up for the You Get to Be You series. Check out my episode, which should be airing tomorrow. If you're not on the mailing list, please go over and sign up for that. I will send an email out on that since it's happening. I thought it was going to be during the week so that it'd be easier for me to say, hey, today, here's the links. You can sign up for just to be on the mailing list. Just go over to the website, the dadsurvivingdivorce.com website, and just look for join the newsletter. Just sign up there. And let's see, let me go back over here. Uh-oh. There we go. Things weren't working. So on that, guys, thanks for hanging out with me on this Friday. I hope that the show turned around. It started off kind of on a dark edge. I didn't hear from Golden, so I hope that information helped. And I appreciate the caller calling in with that funny anecdotal little tidbit that our kids absolutely do see what the heck's going on. They know. We just have to give them a space to feel comfortable with us so that they feel safe. They still have open communications. They're not trying to hide stuff from us. And it takes a while. It takes a long time for that to happen. So just, we've had, and Bears, thank you for sharing with your success. Guys, there's a lot of time. I mean, I know on the first one it wasn't a great story, but a lot of times things ultimately turn out okay. So just hold on to your hope and don't give up. On that, thanks to all the channel members who helped make this show possible. They are listening on the screen. I can't read them fast enough, but appreciate your support. And if you would like to do that, I'd really appreciate you becoming a channel member. On that, guys, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on Monday.